dark, it's lonely, but the stars in the heavens are ablaze with flashing lights, comets, twinklings, and mystery. And then you wonder sometimes, does time is yesterday, today, tomorrow? What is time? Scientists have been recently wondering what time is. But we do know here on Earth, the Earth, New York City, the heartbeat of the anyone who's ever lived in New York City knows the place has a beat and a pulse. It's very exciting. Sometimes you can feel so alone, and sometimes you can feel tall buildings, short buildings, brownstones, townhouses, projects, utilitarian hellholes for people that are on a marginal income. But New York City has a beat, and it's always been a well. Now, as we said, New York City has had many different evolutions. And where have we been lately? Are high, the mortgages are high, the food is expensive, the snacks are unrealistic. So, I mean, it is a city that is been shredding ever since COVID. Ever since COVID, it's been like, thumbs down, thumbs down. A heavy-handed approach from the governor, the ex-governor, who's one of the candidates to run New York City. Can you imagine him playing around with the 8.5 million people in New York City? After he had his stench or stink, or what do you call it? Stinge? I forgot the word. He had his reign as governor, of which he was replaced for some trivia of like sexual harassment. Now, we all know that Andrew Cuomo has done more than that. Just go look through the archives and find out yourself. We're not going to rehash that. But you're wondering, what would be the outcome? And we hear all this talk making New York City communist manifesto hellhole. Well, New York City already is a hellhole. It's been a hellhole many, many times. It's never been nirvana. It's never been heaven. New York City is a funky place, especially if you have to work daily and hop on the rat race trains and buses. The trains are the worst because you're underground, like a mole, like a ratito. You don't understand what I'm saying. The point is, though, who is barking at whom? Now, let's face it, if you're just starting out on your career and you're anyone who wants to have a family and a house and something, the American dream, doesn't it seem like it's gone bye-bye? Bye-bye? Who can afford what? That's the question. Our country is falling apart. Our cities are ridiculous. Ridiculous. Homeless people are just like as common as pigeons. Of course, I don't know if there's any pigeons with the 5G towers and other radioactive things still left in the city, but as park benches, maybe I'll put it that way. Park benches, footstools, the cement, the sidewalk. I'm losing track of where I'm going with this. But you understand, there isn't much opportunity if you are of a certain age aspirations, is there? Amazon, Walmart, layoffs are coming, robots, more software. There isn't much. What are you going to hold on to? I mean, cities are supposed to be vibrant places to meet people. How can you meet people if you don't have the money for coffee or tea? Which, I mean, could be $8 or $10 in a lot of places in New York City and surrounding areas. It's just not, and of course, the energy cost. It's just not affordable. New York City is not affordable. And right now, you have you take like Cuomo. Like New York City's always been a Democratic place. Rah, rah, rah. Democrats, correct? Yes. But Cuomo, who's on the Democratic ticket, has been endorsed by Trump. Now, forgive me for being fact checker or just thinking that I remember correctly, but I don't think the New York City people were very all that bravo about Trump. So why should they care about who he endorses? I mean, it seems to me in Mystic Moons, in the cosmos, in the consciousness, that some people would vote just the opposite of what the Trump deranged syndrome afflicted would do the opposite. I mean, that hasn't changed. So why should we pay attention to what Trump says about who gets elected from New York City, even though he spent decades and decades playing the field in New York City? Now, what's going to happen in New York City, if it's run by Andrew Cuomo? Well, we already had a taste of that. Already have a taste of that as governor. Let me see your papers. We heard that many, many times. And only big, big industrialists, Walmart, Amazon, etc., were allowed to have business open. Stand 6 feet apart, put your mask on, let me see if you had your vaccine. It was quite oppressive, wasn't it? You can imagine. And I don't know how many people are in New York State, but you can guess. But anyway, the jewel and the population center is in New York City. Can you imagine what he would do with 8.5 million people? I mean, he'd be putting his thumb, stomping, stomping, stomping. So we all have seen, are you ready for Andrew Cuomo to bring his cronies, his legion of cronies that have known him since he was a toddler, back into the fold again? The two divide, the 20/80, the 20% would become over there and like bang the 80%. Now, Mangdani is suggesting that the 80% would have more control over their lives. Once they get it, they'll say, the whole thing, people will say anything to get elected. There'd be like free bus rides, which, I mean, they cost a lot. And it's like, and he would also freeze rents. Now rents are already 6K and up. So I mean, how much of a freeze would that be? And then he would tax corporations. I mean, these trillion-dollar corporations like Amazon and etc. would suffer. They're already going to lay the people off, right? You're not going to have the means. And then, I had to go look up recently the definition of socialism. Socialism. I mean, the word says socialism. It's an ism of for society. It's an ism of a collective. And socialism is briefly the public versus the private. Now, we've already had private capitalism and we've had monopolies, which were illegal a few decades ago. And now they're just like, bring it on. Let's all get together and bring it to us. Let's stick it to the people who want to give their sweat to us. Now, there's no future, even though the fact that we know there's no fallout shelters in case of a war in New York City. New York City is a target. So first of all, who the hell really who can feel comfortable in New York City, especially with our central government, our federal government, the Trump administration, going ahead and a war in Venezuela. I'll think about war in Nigeria, war in the Middle East, Gaza, Syria, Lebanon. It's this sweat and say 8% kind of like feels that way. It kind of feels that way. And remember too that we used to have during the war on terror, stopping people who looked Middle Eastern, people who were like, they had a different swag about them. They didn't look like extremely downbeaten nor extremely proud. They just looked different. The melanin, I guess, skin color had things to do with it, but they stopped and frisked. And sometimes they had to stop and frisk just to let's face it. It's like parking tickets. You had to make a quota to show that you were on the job. Just like checking in during the COVID lockdown. How long did that lockdown happen? 2.5 years. It started in 2020. And it went on until late 2022. And all businesses, if you got out of the house without your vaccine papers, you were given a ticket. $50. Well, who said that? Didn't Cuomo say that? I mean, really? Didn't he? You want more of the same. Now, we all know that there's going to be Planet X, forget about Planet X, Pandemic X. The next time, we already have, it's called Polaris. In April, they had a 2 day simulation of health workers and the military, because being healthy you need kicking in the backside. You need to be hop, 2, 3, 4, hop, 2, 3, 4, hop. You need to have militarization of your bodily condition. Bodily condition. Because you're too stupid. We're Americans, we're known globally as being stupid, right? We're too stupid. Among other people too, they strong arm. It was a collective. It wasn't just the United States, it was other countries as well. In fact, any place you had radar, radio, or internet. So there's no telling about the biolabs. 49 of them were in Ukraine, which the Russians got uptight about. No, there's other biolabs all over the world, just like we have bases all over the world. Anything that threatens us, we'll have to decide there. Power structure will have to decide. But the whole point of the matter is that something really weird is happening, no matter who, capitalism, socialism, communism, whatever these ism. The point is that individualism, that's another ism, as we are changing, we have changed. Maybe it's the air, maybe it's the ionized radioactive fluids or atoms in the air that's changing us. But we know that there's more than just what we hear. We know it. We could feel it. We could feel it in our skin tissues. We could feel. We can feel. Of course, getting back to the New York City. New York City, 8.5 million people. Who's going to rule? Who's going to enact their drill sergeants, their army dogs, police people? Police people. Who's going to police this place? And the people that want to leave. Did you know that the governor of Texas said any New York City person who flees upon the outcome, any New York City person who leaves, he's going to tariff you 100%. He used the word tariff. He's going to tax any New York City person who leaves because they don't like the deal. What's that? That's intense, isn't it? I mean, who is this who is this person sitting and making decisions about someone else? Now, isn't that kind of full of it? Isn't that kind of full of it? Now, it doesn't seem right because she wants. You see, United States is United States. We're free to move, even though some states have exit tax. Exit, you got to pay to leave. You could be falling apart, but if you have assets that they want to put their hands on, and you leave, you still have to pay, get that money somehow. I mean, it's all very complicated and very surreal. It's very surreal. So what are you going to do in New York City? Are you going to feel that you are not affected because you don't live in New York City? New York City, it used to be, California and New York used to put the flavor, the tempo for the rest of the states, the United States. And it was always a little further ahead than Europe. Europe was always like about 4 years behind. And we have gone to such ways of extremism in this country, at least by media standards, television, Hollywood, news media, things like that. And the music is always, it's always a certain kind of tempo. Like we got this beat of agitation, this beat of things, happening. Like we're something. But who do you think? Where are you going to flee to? I mean, are you going to be comfortable with Como running the show? Are you going to be Oh, wow. I'm so glad Andrew is back in office in power again. Are you going to be happy if Mandani, he says, power to the people, power to the people? That's what he says. That's what he says. Or Curtis, which he says, it's mine. The city is mine. I spent my whole life, my personal life, my public life, defending New Yorkers for the right to move around, the right to fight injustice. Now, and he says he's not a greedy person. Oh, with all that power, how can any of the three not be greedy? The power of 8.5 million souls beating, thump, 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 thump. What do you think? What do you think? You know? What do you think New York City will go? The effect. Because people are not going to be happy anyway. It goes. There are a lot of people that just don't are not even going to bother. They don't think they really feel power is a different type of drug. It's a different type of urge. It's different power. And the New York City, now you would think that someone would say, what would be whoever wins? Whoever wins. And you would think that people, that the Texas governor is saying, I'll tax New York City people. Whoever wants to leave 100% tax. What do you mean? We're 100%. Like, what if you only made 45K? What's he wants like 4,000, 100%. He wants 45K from you? 100%? What? I don't understand that. Do you? But, I mean, is it legit? Is it just like, don't come anymore? I mean, we already know that New York, California, and Texas are the biggest food stamp dumps of the union. Now, food stands for all it's like, she ate, he ate, lazy bums, or just obesity trips they've been putting on people and corruption. If you have food stamps, that means there's no jobs, right? It means that you are, not because you're lazy, that means the job market sucks. Sucks. Because if you have an active job market, you wouldn't have to need any type of handouts, would you? You would just need to get up in the morning, shower, get out the door, and do your thing. But now we know that job layoffs, more up, we have like 100,000 last week, 100,000 the week out before, and more planned. Let's face it, when we're talking job layoffs, we're talking bland, bland, bland TV, bland newspaper writing, bland. Because I mean, a machine. Can you imagine? Like, just think of the software and the robots being like toaster ovens, toasters. I mean, how often? I mean, they got like 3 settings, 4 settings. It's all the same. It's the spice that makes the life, not just the machines. And who's going to get wealthier and become trillionaire, 1 trillionaire? Oh, we already have trillionaires. But more and more money. How much is enough? How much is enough power? And how can we, the 80%, sit back and just go, oh, I feel so confident that I am being taken care of by people who have so much and I have so little. Now, you own nothing and be happy. You will own nothing and be happy. Now, it's funny how the people that are saying you will own nothing and be happy are those that have everything. Of course, that shouldn't be lost. That should not be lost on the reality of what you see. Now, instead of like saying that we are earthlings, we are all humans on this earth, and we have a collective desire to see our species thrive and go in a good place. And a good place is not when a lot have nothing and a few have everything. That's not a good place. We understand the arithmetic, the mathematics of it. And then we have mouthpieces going, oh, the people are going to go crazy and they're going to do this and do that and do this and do that. And we also know that people are paid to go crazy and do this and do that. Action assassins, right? Action assassins. They want certain people to do riots. They give them a few bucks and they'll do riots. And that was fun. That was fun. So, what is the effect? Well, if you are rich, you'd be stupid to stay in New York City. If you're poor, well, at least you'd be given a chance, perhaps, to get something more, to live a life. And if you're an adventurer, you could take this with something new. If you're a steady type of person that wants the sameness, and you just sit on your sofa and flick your remote, then you're there like, this feels good just the way it is. No changes, no changes, no changes, no changes. Well, yeah. And if you're, well, I think that Curtis can do it. Who are Curtis's backers? Well, Curtis has some powerful friends, but some of them are like, jumping ship. So what does that say about Curtis and his pussycats? As I said, Curtis is like, he spent like a lot of time, a lot of skinship, a lot of mind himself in making New York something. I remember feeling safer when I saw the red berets, the red jackets, different places. But New York City is like a volcano. It keeps on, like, the lava keeps on coming. The crime keeps on coming because people are desperate. They cannot find work. And what is work? We all know that it used to be able to get like a supermarket. But now there's automation. Why would they hire you? Why would they hire you? Or I, or anyone that's human, when you can do software programs, right? And they say, oh, just get a job, get a job. And you can become a plumber, electrician, a lawyer. Every occupation, as long as you have this AI Bravo mentality, is replaceable. So this next mayor is having to do with how to keep all these people going. Hmm? All these people going. Now you can just do the arithmetic. 34 years old. Well, he has a certain amount of crustiness, but he is not in cement. That could be a good thing. He's not crystallized. That could be a good thing, and that could be a bad thing. Because, the power, I love the attention. And anybody who's into politics loves the attention. They love, it's all about me. Well, it's not about you. It's not about any of the three candidates. It's about the 8.5 million people that live there, right? That live there. What do you think? What do you think? Thank you. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. Bloomberg, that was another rich guy, rich millionaire. Can a poor person ever be the leader of anything anymore? Because they got to pay for endorsements, they got to pay for ads. They have to pay to show the masses of a particular area, the constituents, that they have a kind of red carpet effect. They're gonna like run the show. It's like a race. It is a race, a relay race. And upon whose back? And the way of New York City, if we get a socialist mayor, socialism, meaning more people will have an opportunity. For one thing, I forget how much the bus ride is. It should be the same as $5. I don't know, close to $5, $4. Does anybody out there know the price of a bus ride in New York City? Free. And then, well, all the rich families that own already trillionaires, almost almost trillionaire billionaires, who could very well share their wealth. Well, that would mean sharing power. That would mean showing a whole other, their knowledge of, maybe it's all feudal, futile because some agenda is already planned out. So what do they care? New York City, you think that we, as Americans, we're supposed to hate the Russians and the Chinese to be skeptical. And they're going to bomb us and we're going to bomb them and bomb, 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 bomb. Well, where are the shelters? Hmm? So what difference? There's no shelters in New York City. What, the subway? Okay. All right, the shelters. Of course, New York City is surrounded by water bodies, right? I mean, the Hudson River is really just an extension of the Atlantic Ocean. They just call it a river. Now, I'm trying to say, where where will we survive? Where are the tools being put away? Not part of the military. I mean, for us, the people, the sweaters, the sweaters. And I don't mean sweaters you put on with this perspiration, the perspiration people, the people who inspire. I mean, communism. Huh, these are such big words. I mean, you own it or you don't own it. And we never recuperated, the masses, the 80% people have never recuperated from their businesses being closed during COVID. And you can thank Andrew Cuomo, and he's got like saliva coming down his chin. He's wiping it off, ready to do the next punch bag, ready to I can do it, I can do it. And then you have a change, socialism. Take a look at what the dictionary, Britannica, whatever you use, says about socialism. The public, in theory, is supposed to own things. It means production, right? Whereas the system we have now, we have, a handful of people, Gates, Bezos, etc., running the show, owning the show. They're running around in their limos, their private jets, always scurry, trying to count up. I got $70 for transportation. I can go this week. I can go here and there, and I can walk. It's kind of like this really a hierarchical division, but not like multi layers. It's like you got it or you. I mean, it just seems that the poor people, the people of New York City, a renter in New York City, and you're just scraping by, right? Just scraping by. Are you going to be with it? Whatever program is get laid on you, it's going to be a trip. Even now, we said, okay, wait, right now, the government's shut down for 30, 32, 34 days, something like that. There's no food stamps for the people that use food stamps. Now, let's stop thinking of food stamps. Let's think about how many is $8 billion per year, right? No, not per month, excuse me, 8 billion. So all that money weekly is $2 billion a week. That's not going into the system, in the cash registers of the people, the business that are remaining that accept these USD dollars. USD dollars. So we have to think about, and we went through this before, the trickle down effect. So we're even getting into more what? More hardship. The United States is failing its people. We cannot say it's not failing. Are you happy? The happiness factor of the average American isn't very high. It isn't. How can you be happy when so many people are miserable? Or they're just lacking. They don't know what the heck to do with themselves. You try for it, but they don't know what because they're listening to a lot of negative things. How can people who don't have money support wealthy trillionaires, wealthy billionaires? People that are so willing to say, I'm so bored, I want more power, right? What do you think? What do you think? So, I mean, it seems to be something new. We have to try in 2025 something new. Something new. Because remember, there's no fallout shelters, there's no safety net. I remember even Mayor Adams saying when news, a high alarm of dirty nukes being available or maybe dropped off in the in the New York City, North Jersey areas, that pack your to-go bag. Take your telephone, take your toilet paper, and something like and your papers. Now, excuse me, what are you going to do with a telephone in a nuke attack, a dirty bomb attack? I mean, talking straight out of his ASS, right? So, I mean, are we going to have better leadership than that? Or is it just, you can't think about those things? That's not the prescribed way of thinking. That's not the prescribed way of thinking in this cat's cradle. We're up against the wall, but we're up against a horizon at the same time. Now, once you know something, let's say, has a smell, has an odor, right? You know where the stench is coming from. Then at least you have that knowledge. But when you're there repeating these fabricated, prefabricated ideals or divisions, then you know that you're lost. You're lost. You're all stoned and drunk and whatnots. And you're just going, instead of we should. Or you're checking to see what somebody else has. I'm going to rip you off. I'm going to do this and that. Well, these things happen because there are people that are lost. People are lost. It's a huge, maybe 1/3 of American people are lost. And the other third, they just can't put two sentences together because they're afraid. They're afraid because of what they hear. They're afraid. The time of fear, that's almost like some kind of like outer worldly, non-human feeder. Now let's think about this. We want to change. I want to see a change. I want to see people happy again. I want to see people creative again. I want to see us, we don't want warfare. But what kind? What choices do we have if we don't accept warfare? We're crazy not to expect warfare. Now, drugs and all this, I mean, this is a drug culture. It's been a drug culture since many decades. And now they made profit. The state, Leviathan, has been making money off of drugs, right? I mean, you go to any small town in New York, I'm in New York, and you can see pot shops, pot. And then you look at the, you turn your cable, oh, and there's like all these mood enhancers. I mean, nothing more about like, oh, you should like have clean living. Face the reality of our country falling apart, right? Face the reality of politicians not knowing what to do, but they enjoy the power. They enjoy inflicting power. And what will make your knees shake more than somebody telling you something you don't doesn't sound like or you don't want to hear? Is there growth? Like out there, how many people know how to like, cover themselves, make their own clothes? If they can't have the money to go to stores, how many people know how to do anything for themselves? Not much. Not much. Do you or I? No, we have to read about it. Maybe we should just ask ourselves. And how are we going to, and all through here, your job is going to be taken away. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And you will, kneel, bend the knee, instead of like, open a book, learn something new. What could possibly be learned new? I mean, one thing, if we have robots and software, what do they need? They need our energy. They need our electricity. They need our heat. They need our fear of our stupidity. That's what they need. They need us to be stupid. Now you have to think about the heartbeat in New York City. Who is going to make you feel the stupidest, right? Who's going to not be your big daddy? Who's going to say, I'm going to be your big daddy, right? Is Como going to be our big daddy? Is Curtis going to be our big daddy? Is Mandani going to be our big daddy? He's kind of young to be a daddy. Isn't he our big daddy? Is he going to be like up against the wall MFs? I don't know. I don't know. As I said, power is a very fleeting cat's cradle type thing. Well, it's something that we have to think about. I think I'm going to leave this conversation. So, what do you think? Are you going to stick in New York no matter what? Well, of course, a lot of people when you're in New York, it takes a lot of money to get out of New York. Of course, you could be always giving your papers like, please leave this house, please leave this apartment, please leave, exit papers. Maybe, maybe. But what if, okay, 9.5, 8, 9 million people, let's just say 9 million people, because even though they say 8.5, no, not million, yeah, million people live in New York City, there's always this huge percentage of people that they don't get counted. They just don't. I don't know why. Anyway, where what if a percentage of them, no matter who wins, is going to split because you can't stay in New York City. They tell you to get away because Russia's going to bomb, Brooklyn Heights, Lower Manhattan. Going to do this, going to do that. Somebody remember how many people have ever stuck around and saw the World Trades go down? How many people have watched the World Trades go down, and the videos? You think that's just an isolated thing? No. No, I don't see how Curtis get elected either. Curtis, his love of pussycats. I don't know. How can Curtis get elected? I don't know. We have like senior citizens going around checking in uniform, checking public places. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit of a scratch. Can you see? I don't see how anybody who's not a certain age that's not getting Social Security would have time because it costs so much money. They have to work, look for work, work, look for work. I mean, that's the routine in New York City. That's the routine in New York City to afford even the basics. Right now, as it stands, you have to get the subway or the bus fare together, right? That costs money. Where are you going to get the money? The money. The jobs are leaving. Corporations are leaving. You think the corporations are going to stick around with Cuomo and Curtis if Curtis either or get elected? What is there to stick around for? A loss? Don't do we have a commercial in your city? A commercial lease apocalypse? You don't have to go into New York City for lots of jobs. You can sit in front of a monitor. Why should you go through the tolls? How much does it cost to go to New York City? Cross the bridge, travel around, even to cross the city, back and forth, the tunnels. It costs so much money. I mean, 1 month of going back and forth, you probably can get a new laptop, right? Maybe not top of the line, but you can get a good laptop. Another thing about that were unemployed, homeless, he would put them in upstate New York camps. What's that called? FEMA camps? Camps. What does he think he's going to do when he gets? Do you think that idea has gone out the window? He probably got a lot of donors, a lot of rich capitalists who said, "Oh yeah, ship them out, ship them out. They look ugly. They give our city, my city, a bad look." Then you don't have to worry about this the geriatric aged hell. I was going to say Hell's Angels, guardian angels doing anything. You can't trust Curtis because he has had he has had quite an impact in the history of New York City. He's a legend. He is a legend. I'll give him that. He's a legend. He is a legend. But legends are legends. There's something to be read about. But actually, to have the power reigns, it's like he's not going to be Santa Claus. No, no, he's not going to be Santa Claus. Put us, you put us, a lot of us who don't have a job, who got laid off, into a camp, re-education camps, right? Could be, call it whatever you want. FEMA camps. Curtis has some wild ideas, doesn't he? He says a lot of things what a lot of people in power would like to be thinking about, say it private, but Curtis will go because that's Curtis. Curtis is saying, "I'm the man of the people." Uh huh. And one thing about it, if you listen to his radio shows in the past, he always brags about, I know this person, I got to do this, I got to do that. Is he doing things for the worker, the carpenter down the street? No, he does photo ops. Photo ops. He is a step and fetch it for a lot of rich people. But then again, maybe all politicians are step and fetch it's for rich and richer and richest people. Is that the plight of the working class, the middle class? And of course, anybody who owns, I got a car, you don't have a car, I have a house, you don't have a house, I own this condo, you don't own, you rent. I mean, we do have these hierarchical clashes, right? And the fact that you must have more intel than I have, intellectual. I struck rich and you didn't. But all these things, these possessions that we house, car, etc. They're anchors to a failing, anchors, roots to a failing country. Do you think that killing a lot of people in Venezuela, Ukraine, Middle East, and Africa is going to make us feel Tarzan like? Meow. Be acting like, do you think that will? Do you think that's going to make you happy? The blood. War is nothing more than organ donation, organ, cheap organs, skin tissue, hearts, lungs. So it's just salvaging people that don't want to be corrupt, don't want to be cooperative to your agenda. So you have to think about what's the store offering you? What goodies are in the aisle right now under Mayor Adams? We have everything. You walk into stores, everything: the toothpaste, the condoms, the dental floss. It's all locked down. Like you're going to walk out and steal their goodies. I mean, instead of more jobs, we have more control, more cameras, more radiation, more 5G towers. Internet is still crappy in the city. Internet is crappy all over. They have times when it's great and times when it's not great. Times it's just like peak season or peak times for like heat. It's peak if you use heat during the 9 to 5 or from like midnight to 5 a.m. It's cheaper rates. Same thing with the internet. They don't tell you that, but it's true. It's true. It's true. Well, I've been talking about 45 minutes now, and it's pretty clear that people that want change, a city is vibrant. It's for people who have the energy and the thoughts and the willingness to live that close to other people. Generally, that's what a city is for. But a city that's not protecting its people. So remember, what does New York City offer you? Huh? Think about it. And of course, elsewhere, the places are dead. A lot of cities, dead zones. Dead zones. There's no jobs. There is no jobs in smaller places. There is no jobs. But there's lots of bills of pay me, pay me, pay me. And there's people that are very like, they just, they hear it on the TV or the newspapers. They go, this is the law. This is what's what. So we have a lot of clashes. A lot of clashes of where people want to go. So, I mean, we have a lot of things that we have to think about. But one thing is for sure. How many people, how many people are going to stick around? I mean, stick around and just vegetate. I mean, if your country isn't having doesn't want you, right? I mean, if you can't find a job for someone, if you can't give them something to hope for, right? If you can't give them something to live for, you know, live for, why should they stick with you, right? We're all meant to do something. And sometimes we have to move our bodies, our physical bodies, someplace that is where it's more nurturing, where we see more promise of hope. Does New York offer that? Does New York City offer anything but ghosts of the past? Ghosts in museum pieces. We're too young to be in museums, most of us. Well, think about it, people. Who's the winner and what is the prize? 8.5 million turkeys, us people, body parts, a collective. Hmm. It's kind of weird, isn't it? What are we offering? Who's made the deal? Who has made the deal with Faust? Who has made the deal? And what is the price the people pay for the winner's gold? Gold. I think you pretty much know who's going to be the winner for tomorrow. But does it matter who is the winner? Hmm? Or is it just drama? Just drama. Nothing else to talk about. Drama. Drama. We're not talking about good living here. We're talking about a power structure. That's all. A power structure. And we think the turban, flowing cloth, what do you call it? Shawakamis, those clothes, those baggy clothes, or clothes, the clothes of the Middle East, the clothes of the Muslim, is going to take everything away. Everything away. So it's just like one ideology, fear mongering, right? 9 million people are 9 million people. That's all. And they're not all of one breed. There are good people, there are bad people, and everything. There are good business people, there are bad business people. Good and bad of everything. There are loafers, and there are people that strive to do 1,000 times more than they should do in a positive manner. So let's not think about ideology ideology. It's simply a matter of like youth versus old. It is really that. A city is vibrant when you have people that are willing to take chances. This doesn't mean you have to keep what you got, get. And you have to think about what kind of vibrancy would a Como bring? Vibrancy that Curtis would bring, a vibrancy that Mandani. And don't be naive to think that he does not have ties to established wealth. He's not having his strings pulled too. So I mean, wasting time and making and believing all this, the city will go to hell. The city's already a shithole. We know it is, right? It's already what it is. So just go about your day and don't think about a savior that's going to save the city. City's already funky, funky. It already is what you see every day. What you see every day. The mayor is not a Superman. It's one person with tentacles, whomever gets it. And it won't be Curtis because Curtis, well, Curtis is Curtis. All right, so I'm going to say to New York City, thumbs up, good luck. Whomever, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Yes, there's going to be a lot of media going boohoo and rah rah and beware. But remember, Como has already been vetted. You know where that went, right? Luckily, you didn't have, or you may have had somebody in a nursing home and you may have not had your papers or you got fined or your business was shut down. He's not going to change. Curtis, Curtis has been around. Curtis is a fame, I could say, he loves fame. He loves to be in the paper. He loves the publicity. He's an exhibitionist. Look at me. Look at me. I still got it. Montani, he is the, oh, he's the rolling the dice. He's rolling the dice. But is he really rolling the dice? Who's rolling his dice? He is the dice. He brings youth. He brings youth. That's all. He brings a younger type of vibration. And of course, he's promising and promising and promising. Let's see. Now, we do know that if you own property in New York City, you own property, that more people that flee, more people that have already fled, your property tax is making up the difference. That's called any type of town you live in. The people that own property, that have the roots, the anchors in that land, they want to maintain their position. Therefore, they have to pay the taxes. Renters are, in a way, people always look down at renters, but renters are just breezing through. I just take a U-Haul and get the hell out. A person that owns property, they can't do that easy. They have not put down the different type of roots. Different, different. And New York State is in the crapper. New York State is in the crapper. So forget about New York City. New York, United States is in the crapper. Very much so. Very much so. So, anyway, I'm going to leave. Think about it. Think about economics. Think about it, but don't worry about it. Don't worry because it's still a puppet show. It's a puppet show. It's a puppet show. Until the next time, Mr. Boone's is out. Think about tomorrow. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's going to be the same old, same old, same old on a different level. Maybe with it, like the last time I remember who was the mayor with the lesbian wife. I mean, you saw how that ended. And then Mr. Adams, you saw how that is. You see, they think that we can stray that further from the perceived enlightenment, I'll use that word, that it already is. Until the next time, bye bye. And thank you for the likes.